official predictions for UFC 303 this weekend. Um, Actually, before we get into that, I just want to say thank you for the support on the first video I made. All the nice comments, I really appreciate it. Um, I'm glad that someone was able to be relaxed from that shitty ass mic quality. It should be better now. Let me know in the comments. Like, tell me if it's sounding good or if there's anything that's still sounding off. I think I fixed the main problem. Um, but yeah, I really appreciate the support. It's very nice, y'all. So, yeah, I'm gonna keep trying to improve the channel, improve the quality, make sure it's better every time. So yeah, with that being said, here are my picks for UFC 303. I'm really excited for this card. I am low-key happier with the card now, as opposed to when it was first announced. Um, I know Connor's a legend and like people love watching him fight, but I never really watched Connor fight during his era when he was actually winning. I only saw him when he lost. So the first Connor fight I ever watched was against Khabib, and yeah, ever since then he has not done too well. So um, I don't have that same kind of attachment that most people do with McGregor. So when he pulled out, I kind of expected it. Low key, that's what he does. He talks like so much shit and says so much stuff on Twitter, and then just never fights. Like, he just doesn't show up. But I think it's a better card by far. They beefed up the rest of the card because they couldn't get away with Connor with a shitty card without the Connor headline, especially for the people who paid like thousands of dollars for fucking tickets. Um, but yeah, I'm happy with the replacements. The Jamal Hill shit is crazy. I still wish he would have fought Khalil Roundtree. That would have been a banger. But now we got Roman Dolidze and Anthony Smith. So many cancellations. There's 7 on the last card. This one has 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I think just 4. That's not as bad, but still. Insane. So, the last card, we did not do too well. We went negative. We went 5 and 6. Not my greatest performance, but yeah, I think Johnny Walker was probably my worst pick of the night. So yeah, let's just forget about that and hope that this weekend is gonna be a little bit better. Alright, starting off the card, we got Vinicius Oliveira and Ricky Simon, or Simone, however you want to say it. Also, I'm a transition between soft-spoken and whispered. So, yeah, I think Ricky Simone definitely has the advantage in this one. Vinicius is fucking dangerous. I could see him catching Ricky with like a left hook or an uppercut or something on his way in. Because he is nasty, bro. His striking is pretty vicious. But Ricky's a pretty high level fighter. I love his grappling. His offensive grappling is great. His cardio is pretty good too. He's kind of tiny and he's very susceptible to flying knees, which is something to mention. But his grappling is pretty great for the bantamweight division. I think he definitely has the ability to keep Oliveira down for like three rounds, and maybe do some damage, maybe find a submission, because he is nasty. Like, he's not just a wrestle fucker. He like actually goes for the finish a lot, and he's strong as shit. So I could see Ricky Simone by decision or by submission, but I think if he's afraid to shoot because of Oliveira's striking and counter striking, then that could be trouble.
and if obviously he catches Ricky Simone. But chances wise, I do slightly lean towards Ricky Simone. I would not be surprised if Oliveira, caught him coming in or caught him in like a late round or something. But I just think Ricky Simone's probably a higher level caliber fighter, and that wrestling can kind of neutralize anyone. So yeah, I'm going with Ricky Simone on this one, but not super confidently. I think you should be like minus 150. What is he now? I think 250? Yeah, like 255. All right, next fight we got Ray Tusuria versus Carlos Hernandez. Let's see if I haven't seen Ray fight before, I don't think. But from what I've heard, he's a great grappler. I've watched Carlos Hernandez fight. Yeah, he's honestly not bad. Like, Carlos Hernandez is actually pretty good. He's underrated, I think, for sure. Tatsuro Taira is having a tough time with him. But I've heard that Ray's a great grappler, and I could see him getting the submission. So I think I'm just going to go with the favorite in Ray. Next match, we got my boy Andre Arlovsky versus Martin Buday. I love Arlovsky, man. He's a mythical fighter for sure. And Martin Buday is definitely an interesting case. He has a wild ass style. He just kind of grinds against you on the cage and does like dirty boxing with his weird build. He's got like skinny arms but like kind of a belly. It's very strange. But yeah, Buday's got a weird style, but he's got good grappling, good jiu-jitsu, and he's actually not terrible. Like he has a hint of technical ability as a heavyweight and someone who's a little chubbed up in the heavyweight division. Arlovsky, he's a decision machine. He doesn't really go for the finish anymore. But he's a legend, man. He's a decision merchant. He loves to stay on the outside and beat these fat, terrible heavyweights. Kind of lull him into a slow fight. And it goes his way sometimes, and it does not go his way other times. But I could see it going his way, but I think I'm going to go with Martin Buday. It's definitely not a confident pick for me. I think Andre could totally win this one. But Buday does have like a glimpse of decentness, and I think that might get him far enough in this fight. Yeah, I guess I could see him pressuring him and just kind of making him tired against the cage or something. Or submitting him. I think he definitely has the grappling advantage if you wanted to. So yeah, I'm going to go with Martin Buday. Next up, we got Michelle Waterson Gomez versus Jillian Robertson. I want to go Michelle Gomez so bad. Hold on. What? She's only minus 153. I was thinking about betting on her, but at minus 153, I don't know if that's a good price tag to pay. But I do think she has a chance, because a lot of people think Jillian is going to grapple. Which if she does, and she's able to get Michelle down to the ground, she definitely could win, but she's more of a stand-up, or no, she's not more of a stand-up fighter, but when she fought Baby Shark, I believe, bro, she did not want to fucking shoot a takedown. Like, she was just striking the entire time, just losing and continuing to strike. And I think she could do that too, bro. I think she's not the brightest bulb sometimes, and I think she could try to go with that game plan and outstrike Michelle Waterson and end up losing a decision. But ultimately, the safe bet is that she's able to get her down and maybe submit her. But Michelle's got decent takedown defense, and it's just hard to bet on her because she's 1-6 in her last 7 fights. And she has like tiny reach. her boxing isn't very good, and her kicks like aren't effective. But for some reason, I could see her winning a decision in this one. So fuck it.
We're gonna go with Michelle Watterson by decision.
All right, moving on to the prelims. We got Peyton Talbot versus Giannis Gamori. I'm very excited for this fight. I love Peyton Talbot.
I've been very excited to see his next fight since his Cameron Simon fight. I also watched his Contender Series fight, and I was so impressed. Like, he looked so fucking good, and I just love his style. He's like so gritty and so just like in your fucking face, you know. Like, he lets you have it. And his composure is phenomenal. He does get hit a good amount of times, but he's got a really like big ass, strong head. So he can like get hit a few times and still walk forward and use that to like start crunching up and putting the pressure on you, putting the beats on you. And yeah, he's just got aura, bro. I hate that word sometimes, but it's a very accurate way of describing Peyton Talbot's fighting style. Bro just has hella aura, and he fucking mocks the opponent, pieces him up, and uses his slick boxing with his hands down style, and his good kicks, knees too, and his like explosive athletic wrestling to just put the pressure on you and drown you in round 2 and 3. His cardio is also insane. He relies on that a lot. But Giannis Gamori, I remember his William Gomi fight. I think it was a bullshit stoppage. He was fine, and he didn't get 5 minutes, and that was definitely a nut shot. It did hit on the waist, right? But you saw the cup move, and they always say in like commentary that even if you don't get hit in the nuts, if the cup moves, you can like fucking smack your nuts or like pinch him or some shit, and it hurts like a bitch. And I think that's what happened. So I think he got kind of cooked there. And I remember he wasn't doing that bad. He was definitely losing, but he looked like an okay fighter. That being said, I have to go with my boy Peyton Talbot on this one. Yeah, I think the line is insane. He's like, let's see, where it's at now. Minus 1900. That's an insane price. I'm not that confident in him winning. I think Giannis is definitely good. It's definitely possible. But, bro, come on. It's Peyton Talbot. It's the GOAT. I hope he gets it done, and I'm gonna pick him. My third round. TKO. Next we got Charles Jourdain versus Jean Silva.
I'm gonna have to go with Charles Jourdain on this one. I love Charles Jourdain. He's one of my favorite fighters, but recently he has not been looking the greatest. I can't lie. Yeah, his Sean Woodson fight was not strong. I had a feeling he'd struggle because Sean Woodson's actually underrated. He's kind of decent. And he has such long arms and such a weird build that I could see how Charles would struggle. But I think this matchup is pretty good for him. I think John Silva definitely has the power advantage and probably the size advantage. But Jordan's a fucking dog, bro. He's got that dog in him for sure. And that's what I love about him. Like his Andre Ewell fight, his Marcelo Rojo fight, phenomenal performances, like just insane style, gritty, fucking good cardio, just goes after it, great Muay Thai, good front kicks. So I think he absolutely has what it takes to to gas Gene Silva out, survive the early rounds, and then take him out in the third or take him to decision. I think he's just too Chad to get knocked out by Gene Silva, you know? Like, I could see his chin getting exposed, like him getting caught, or like stumbled or rocked, but Gene Silva's like, I think he's gonna get tired, and I think Jourdain's just a level above, so going with Jourdain. Next up, we got
Cub Swanson versus Andre Fili. I'm gonna have to go with Andre Fili on this one. I think it's actually a close fight. Andre Fili's not that good. He is one of my favorite fighters. I always root for him when he's fighting, but he's not. You know, he's pretty chinny, and Cub Swanson hits pretty hard. So I could totally see him getting caught, but I think he has the size and reach, like length advantage, and I hope he uses his kicks a lot. I think that's going to be a key to victory for sure. But yeah, I think he might catch Cub Swanson to the body or to the chin. I think he's going to get rocked in this fight because his chin isn't the best. But I'm going to take Andre Fili by submission. I'm going submission. Fuck it, why not? I think he's gonna rock him and then jump on like a armbar, rear naked choke or some shit. Alright, moving on. Joe Pyfer versus Marc-Andre
Barriault. I'm going with Joe Pyfer. I think Marc-Andre is actually pretty decent. I think he's a very improved fighter. I think he used to not be as good as he is right now, or as he's looked recently. His boxing is nice. He puts a lot of pressure on people. He's got just a volume-heavy style where he kind of comes forward, but I can totally see Joe Pyfer catching his ass with an uppercut and just cooking him, because I think Marc-Andre doesn't hit hard enough to like command respect from another fighter, and Joe Pyfer is just like all power and all commanding respect and being dangerous. And he also has the grappling route too. He's gonna be way bigger, way taller. I totally see Joe cracking him. He could gas out. I could see a world where Marc-Andre puts it on him in the second and third and starts, gassing him out, maybe TKO. But I think the safe bet here is Joe Pyfer. So yeah, I'm going Joe Pyfer by knockout. Next up, we got Ian Machado Gary versus MVP Michael Venom Page. I'm going with Ian Gary, man. I see a lot of people picking MVP. I do think he's a very good fighter, probably one of the best or the best that Ian's faced, but I think it's going to be a boring ass fight. I see a lot of people really hyped for this fight, and I get the name brand and like the UK versus Ireland kind of thing is cool, I guess, but bro, this shit is going to be so boring. You've got two counter fighters who are just like the definition of counter fighters. MV Page, he is a bit more offensive than I originally perceived him to be. Like that Kevin Holland fight surprised me how often he was engaging. I thought he was more of a kind of bounce around and stay out of range guy, but he was putting that work in. It was only like 2 shots at a time, but he did it pretty often, and I respected that. So Ian Gary's a guy who loves playing on the back foot, just being like just out of range and then kind of sniping from just out of range. And yeah, he hates to go forward unless the guy's like crunched and he knows he's going to finish him. But yeah, Ian Gary just is so safe of a fighter when he gets to fighting like better opponents. And yeah, I think it's going to be boring, man. I think they're going to be unable to find each other. Maybe MVP will crack Ian, but I could also see Ian countering him on one of those blitzes. Um, I don't love Ian Gary. He gives me weird vibes. Definitely gives me poor vibes. But I don't think MVP beats him, man. I think he could definitely wrestle. He's probably going to try to grapple. But yeah, I just think this fight's going to be boring. That's my most confident prediction, low-key, is that this fight's going to be pretty boring. But who knows? Hopefully I'm proved wrong. But yeah, I'm going with Ian Gary on this one. Next up, we've got the people's main event. We've got Maria Bueno Silva versus Meisy Chasson. I just love saying her name. It's very French. Meisy Chasson. Okay. Yeah, I think Macy's got this one. Maria kind of sucks. Macy's actually pretty good. Her last couple fights impressed me. Her grappling's legit. Her striking isn't as good, but she has pretty high level grappling. And I think Maria's just getting kind of old and just kind of losing her stride. So yeah, I'm going Macy. Next fight, Anthony Smith versus Roman Dolidze. I've honestly got Anthony Smith in this one. I think he's going to be bigger, not by like too much, because he's already a small, lightweight. But yeah, Roman is just ass. That's kind of what I'm going off of here, is that Roman sucks. And he's very slow, and his striking is like one overhand right every now and then he follows up sometimes. But Anthony Smith is well-rounded. He has great jiu-jitsu, so I think he's going to be okay in the grappling. He's going to be longer and bigger and much faster, I think, low-key. And he has a good one, too. I think slow kick will be there. And I think he'll just kind of piece up Roman Dolidze on the feet to a decision win. I may be putting too much trust in Anthony Smith, but I'm thinking about betting on this fight because Anthony Smith, let's see, I believe he's an underdog. Yeah, he's a plus 120 underdog. So yeah, as an underdog, I feel like you gotta throw some money on Anthony Smith. Because Roman Dolidze just kind of sucks. He's very slow and he kind of sucks. So I'm going Anthony Smith. I might put some money on it. Next fight, we got Brian Ortega versus Diego Lopez. This is one of the harder matchups to predict for me on this card. I honestly don't know who's going to win. I think Brian probably has the biggest chance of losing just because he came in missed weight. He probably wasn't training too hard. Diego Lopez was probably pretty ready. Like he's always kind of ready, and he's lean and he's ready to go. So I think he's probably going to be more prepared. And he's pretty Chad. Like, he goes in and finishes. He's very big and strong and athletic for a featherweight. But Brian Ortega is definitely the toughest test he's ever had. And Brian's not too bad, especially in the jiu-jitsu department. His boxing's okay. I think it's going to be hard for Diego Lopez to find the finish. I think it could happen maybe in the second or third. But I feel like I have to go on Lopez just based off of his readiness to fight and like where they're at in their careers. And just how prepared they are for this fight. I think Diego, I rarely talk about momentum. Like, I don't think momentum has that much to do with predicting a fight. I think it's mostly about styles, which this fight's probably going to be on the feet. And I probably favor Diego Lopez just a little bit. Not too much. I think Brian's stand up is underrated, but probably favor Diego Lopez. And yeah, he's just got that momentum, you know? It's usually not as much of a factor, but in this case, where they're kind of close skill wise, I think that's going to be the thing that pushes it over the edge and gets Diego Lopez the victory. Last fight of the night, the main event, we got Alex Pereira versus Yuri Prochazka. I'm going Alex Pereira. I might put some money on him too because I think he's only a slight favorite.
Yeah, he's only minus 152. So minus 150 for Alex Pereira after getting a knockout over Jamal Hill in like 20 seconds. Not 20 seconds, it was like 2 minutes. But after that performance, you're telling me this guy is just a slight favorite. Like, bro. And he already beat him before. He's in his prime. He's looking phenomenal. Yuri's open on the feet. He always gets hit in his fights. He was doing well against the cage. But Alex is just like a better striker overall. He was destroying him with those leg kicks. I don't see him adjusting and dealing with those leg kicks.
So I think Alex Pereira really just like beats him everywhere except the grappling, and Yuri's kind of small, which I think would help him cardio wise. I think if this goes all 5, Yuri would definitely have the advantage, especially on short notice. But his grappling isn't that good because he's small, man. He's decent. His grappling was okay in the first fight, but Alex is always able to get back up. And I think he'll definitely wrestle, and that's the move. That's the way to go. But I don't see him submitting Alex, you know. Yeah, I think Alex has just got that fucking aura, bro. He's just winning all these damn fights. He's that face of the UFC. And I know we see a lot of underdogs win, but he's barely a favorite. And yeah, he just has like, I don't know, just this kind of like energy to him where he's fucking just solid, just a solid fighter, extremely powerful, like so dangerous on the feet that it's just hard for a guy like Yuri to do much, and I don't see him making the adjustments. Plus his last fight was a lot harder mentally than Alex's was. It was a good performance, but he did eat a lot of shots. Alex took basically no damage. His toes fucked up, but who cares, bro? He'll be alright. Because he's not bitch like Conor McGregor. But yeah, I'm going Alex. I think Alex by KO or TKO again, maybe in the later rounds instead of the first. But I can see one of the first rounds as well. So yeah, those are my picks for UFC 303. Let me know what your hot takes on this card are down below. If you have any picks that you think aren't very popular that you're confident in, let me know why. So yeah, thanks for watching. Don't let the bedbugs bite.